Taking you now to Perth, where the Attorney-General, Christian Porter, is speaking.
The arrangement is for the provision of 3 buses, which I understand are being used not only in this federal campaign, but after that a state campaign. And the arrangement is that the purchase will be invoiced for before the time of the 2019 federal election.
When was the arrangement?
I understand it was entered into last year.
And as part of that arrangement, is there an agreement that there will be complementary use of that bus at some time as well?
That's not my understanding of the arrangement.
And is...
Well, there was use of the bus before payment, and that's not an unusual thing because often campaign funds come in late, but the arrangement was a commercial one.
And was Jo Francis involved in negotiating that arrangement?
Look, I'm unaware whether or not he was involved in negotiating the arrangement with the Liberal Party. I mean, the matter was conducted outside of my office. I mean, we had something to do with the logistics of picking up the bus and that sort of thing, but we had nothing to do with the commercial arrangement.
The claims have been made that his appointment to the AAT as well, including with the buses, being a jobs for mates deal. Do you agree to that?
Well, Jo Francis, like other appointments to the AAT, has very strong parliamentary experience. He was an outstanding and respected naval officer, so a member of our Australian Defence Force. In this round, there were both former members of Parliament from both sides of politics appointed, as there were former members of staff of members of Parliament from both sides of politics appointed. The front page of the West Australian today said that there was a free provision of buses. That's not correct.
Was the appointment of Jo Francis a favourite?
Well, Jo Francis, in my observation, is qualified for the position, and I have been looking for people who will reflect community values in decision-making as well as make sound administrative law decisions. My view is that Jo Francis will reflect community expectations in decision-making, particularly on migration issues. And last year we had in excess of 4,000 decisions of the Minister, which generally pertain to refusing or cancelling visas, very often of people who've engaged in criminal conduct. 4,000 of those decisions were overturned, and I have had a very sharp eye to making sure that people are appointed who I think reflect community values and decision making.
Even though he doesn't have any expertise in migration, can you see how the public views it on all sides?
Well, only if the nature of appointments to the AAT isn't accurately reported. So the AAT was never meant to have only lawyers or only people with experience. Well, indeed, and the Labor Party appointed Duncan Kerr, who was a former federal Labor minister, as president to run the AAT. There's nothing wrong with that. He did a fine job. But the AAT is meant to have some lawyers, some people with experience in the military, some people with experience in Parliament, some people with experience in engineering, some people with experience in medicine, and all of them are expected to make a variety of decisions. One of the benefits of having former members of state or federal parliament is they themselves have made administrative decisions, which actually places them quite well to be able to judge when administrative decisions have been soundly made according to law.
Mostly no commercial arrangement will involve paying upfront for providing the buses. Do you think that this is a bit of a cosy arrangement because of the political party?
Look, I understand they're 3 buses. They're very old buses. The company was likely to have decommissioned them had they not been purchased. The party will raise campaign funds and that will accelerate towards the election. It seems to be a commercial transaction that suits both parties, but I don't know that I would describe it at all in those terms. But I haven't been a part of that commercial transaction.
Just for clarity, is it the Port of Transport?
No, it's not. The bus on the front page of the West Australian was purchased with a lump sum some time ago. So the bus that is in question is not actually the bus that's pictured. But
So
hey, these things happen. It's used for mobile billboards, transport out to servicing local electorate. I have 14,000 square kilometres, so we very often provide volunteers for community events. If I can give you one example, on Sunday I participated for the better part of the day in a Clean Up Australia Day campaign in Carramar in my electorate, and buses are used to take volunteers out to those sort of occasions. Okay.
One other matter, there was news this morning about a $50,000 donation to the WA Liberal Party off the back of Julie Bishop appointing a Chinese businesswoman to the China-Australia Council. Are your thoughts on that?
Look, I'm not. I must confess that's the first I've heard of that contention. So I won't provide you answers without at least understanding something about the circumstances and context.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Cheers.
General Christian Porter speaking in Perth. He was defending his move to accept campaign support from a company whose former director has just been given a six-figure government job. Prior to being given the six-figure government job as part of the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, the former State Liberal MP Joe Francis left his position at the bus company Australian Transit Group, and the same company has reportedly loaned campaign buses to Mr Porter and to two other Liberal candidates. That's the latest from Perth.